Hello and welcome to Source CAD. In this video, I will introduce you to a very new software called Dibac CAD. Now, this software is focused for architects and interior designers, and it is compatible with all DWG formats. So you can use your AutoCAD files with this Dibac CAD software as well. Now, making plans with Dibac CAD is a breeze due to its ready-made tool sets and powerful features. And here we'll explore all those tools and features and we'll make a simple plan using Dibac CAD. So let's get started. Alright, so here I have the software and I'll be using this one for making 2D plans. This software is very different from AutoCAD, and although there will be some of the tools which are pretty similar, still it's way different than AutoCAD and the workflow will also be very different. So before I begin, I want to mention that you can get access to the trial version of this software using link in the description. So now we'll start with our floor plan. So here I'll start by setting the proper units. So in this case, to set the proper units, you need to go to Tools and Preferences. Here, go to General tab and make sure in Drawing Units, whatever unit you want to select is selected. I am using inches in this case, so I'll make sure inches is selected and I'll hit the OK key. Also here in the File option, you will be able to see your original drawing unit. So in this case, the drawing unit is inches, which is obviously mentioned here. Now, the next setting is applying the properties to the wall. So here we have a direct wall tool that can be used to make the external and internal walls. And to do that, I'll once again go to Tools and Preferences. Here we have a tab called Walls. I'll go to this and look at this. Here I have some options like thickness 5 is 5 inches, as we are using inches as the unit. This will be in inches. Thickness 10 is 10 inches and so on. So I've already defined it here as thickness 5 will be 5 inches, thickness 10 inches, thickness 15. If you want to define, maybe make it 15, or if you want to make it just 12 inches, make it 12, and also I'll just change it to 12. So in this way, you can define different thicknesses. I'll just keep these three thicknesses, 5, 10, and 12. And I'll hit the OK key. Alright, now we have the thicknesses here, thickness 5, 10, 12, and we can switch between different thickness values of the wall just by switching it from here. We have the orthogonality set to 0 degrees. Orthogonality of 0 will ensure that you'll have only horizontal and vertical drawings here. And then we have the object snap points here. Alright. Now let's make some layers. So I'll go to Layer and I'll create a couple of layers here. So we have layer 0, 1, layer 1 and 2. Let's double click on layer 0 here. Now the layer 0 is the active layer. I'll go to layer 1 and I'll double click on its name and I'll call it Walls. And I'll click on OK. Then layer 1, let's call them Doors, and layer 2 for Windows. Maybe let's make a new layer for blocks and another one for dimensions. So I'll double click here and I'll call it Blocks and Dim, and I'll click on OK. So we have all the layers. Let's change the colors. All right, and I'll click on OK. Now let's begin making the wall. So now I'll go to this layer drop down and I'll change it to Walls. Also, I'll start by the external walls of 10-inch thickness. So I'm going to select 10-inch thickness here and I'll click on this wall tool. So this is the wall tool. I'll click at a point. I'll move my cursor to the right and I'll type 30 feet. Now look at the command line. In this case, I will add this apostrophe sign for feet and double apostrophe for inches. So you need to ensure that you add this sign for feet and inches separately. I'm using this feet sign here. So now I'm going to just press enter. And now we have a line of length 30 feet. I'm going to press escape. I'll zoom out. And here it is. So this is 30 feet line. And the thickness here, thickness of this wall is 10 inches. All right. Let's go to wall again. And now I'll click here And once again, we'll start making another wall. So we can just start it right here. And now I'll type 48 again, feet, and enter. And we don't need to exit the command now. So now I'll just go to this side and 30 feet. And I'll join it here. And now I'll press escape key. So here we have 30 by 48 rectangle, which we'll use in this case. Now for the internal walls, we'll use the parallel wall tool. And before doing that, I'm going to change the thickness to 5 inches. So now I'll go to parallel wall, and here I'll add the first offset distance of 12 feet and enter. Now you can select the wall. I'm going to select this one. I'll click here and then here. The second wall will be added here, the side where you click. Now once again, I'll select this line. I'll click here, again this one, and I'll click here. Now I'll change the distance to 14 feet. So I'll type 14 feet and I'll select this wall, click here, this wall, and here. Now once again, I'll change the distance to 5 feet. And I'll select this wall, click here, and also I'll select this wall and I'll click here. Alright, so we've added the walls. Now it's time to trim the part which are not needed. And it's pretty easy. All you need to do is select the part like this and delete. And it will delete the wall and it will merge the gaps as well. So here also I'll select this wall, I'll delete it. And here we have it. Alright, now these are all straight walls, but if you want to add curved walls, then you can do that as well. And for that, we have a tool here, the curved wall tool. I'll select this. Now I'll select this point and I'll select this point and I'll make a curved wall like this. But before I do, I just forgot to change my thickness. Since this is a external wall, I need to specify that 10-inch thickness. So I'm going to press escape and I'll change it to 10-inch thickness. Again, this curved wall, this point to this point, and here we go. Now we need to click inside because this is the way the wall is made. So I'm going to click here and now the walls are added. Also now here again, I will just add one more wall. So I'll go to this thickness of 10 and I'll go to parallel wall tool. And from this point to this point, we need a wall, and that's added. And now we'll clean the areas. So we'll just clean this part of the drawing. So I'm going to select these two and I'll press delete, and look at this. Once again, it will just merge it, and in a very clean way, it will create your walls. And again, here we just want to get rid of these two lines. So I'll select them and I'll delete them. All right, this is what I wanted to make. Now we'll add doors and windows. So for the joineries, you can go to this option here, joinery, and here we have doors, windows, wardrobes, and some custom joineries which you can make here and add it. In this case, I'll start with door. We have single, double door opening, and these are the options. In this case, I'll start with single door. That's what we want to add. And here is the door width. So this is 24 inches, so approximately 2 feet. But in this case, I want a 3 feet wide door. So I'm going to type 36. And that's 36 inches. All right, now I'll click on OK. And here we have the door. Now, before adding the door, we could have changed the layer also. So I'll go to this layer and I'll change it to doors. Also here, cyan is selected, so I'm going to change it to layer. Let's add it. So I'll go to door, single door, 36. All right. And for the doors, all you need to do is just hover your cursor close to the point where you want to add it. And in this case, I want to add it here. I'll click and the door will be added like this. Clean and simple. Here also, I'll add the door right here. Just here. And it will also adjust the width of the wall. So according to the width of the wall, it will automatically adjust the door. Here it is. Then the next one here, and again the next one here, and we have added the doors inside. and this process is pretty fast. Here we want to add a double door, so I'm going to press escape. I'll go to the joinery, doors, double door, 36. Second one should also be 36. So this will be like a 6 feet wide. So maybe we can just decrease it to like 26 or 26. Yep, that looks good. So okay, and we have this double width door, so I'm gonna add it here. So we have the doors. In a similar way, we can add the windows. So I'll go to joinery and I'll go to window here, and we also have the window sill, sill nosing, and large window. In this case, I'll add the sill nosing window, and number of sashes to the length is 48 inches, which is obviously 4 feet wide. So these numbers look good to me. So you can keep the same value or you can change according to your own standards. So in this case, I'll just keep these values. I'll click on OK, and we have the window. Now in this case, again, you can specify where you want to add it. And I'm going to add the window here. And we once again forgot to change the layer. So let's just press escape and windows. All right, here's the window color, and just go to this, click on OK, and we have the windows. So I'm going to just add the first window here, second one here, the next one here, and the next one right here. And we want to add a window here as well. All right, in this case, maybe if you want to reverse the direction of the windows, then let's just get rid of this and add the window. We just want to keep the uniform direction. So I'm going to click on OK, and now I'll just ensure that the direction is pretty uniform. So now this part is inside here, and the same thing should happen for all the windows, and yep, everywhere else it's uniform, and here also. All right, now we have added the doors and we have added the windows. It's time to add some blocks, and to do that, once again, I'll first change the layer this time. I'm not going to forget this. So blocks, and the block tool is right here. You can select insert block and locate the required block from this insert block dialog box. I'm going to go to file, and this is the library of blocks. Here all you need to do is just go to Dibac 6. This will be the default folder which will open for you, and when this is open, just go to these blocks. You can select these blocks, or you can also go to this object 2D where the real magic will happen. This is the place where you'll find most of the blocks, and in this case I'm gonna go to furniture and seats and couch. All right, this couch looks good, so I'm gonna use this one, couch 3. Okay, and I'll uncheck all of these options because I want to specify these options here on screen. So insertion point, scale, and rotation, I will specify all these values. So I'll click on OK. I'll specify a point right here. That's this insertion point. Now the scale, which is this, and well, this. Okay, now this looks pretty big. I was not supposed to make it kind of this big, so that's okay. I'll change its size later on, but now I'll add the angle. This looks good, so here it is. The block is added. It's pretty big. Let's reduce the size, and we have a tool here for that. The tool is right here, the scale tool. I'll select the scale tool, I'll select the block and enter, and the base point, well, this is the base point, and I want to decrease the size to 0.6 times. So 0.6 will be the scale factor, enter, and that's a small now. I'll select it. Now I'll go to move right here. I'll move it a bit upwards like this. In a similar way, you can add other blocks. So again, I'll go to insert block and well, file, and now I'll change it to furniture, beds. We want to add a few of these beds, so maybe king size, queen size. Okay, okay, and okay. And here I'll add a bed, so right here, and here's the width, and here's the length and the rotation angle. Just a little bit of movement is required, so maybe here. Looks good to me. So that's our bed. In a similar way, you can add multiple blocks here. In this case, instead of adding the blocks, I'm going to just make a copy of this existing block. So I'll just add another one here and another one here, and I will rotate this one. Obviously this is not the proper angle for this one, so I'll just rotate it like this, and then I'll just move it as well here. Okay, you can add more blocks here, and you can add as many blocks as you want. So as you can see, in just a few steps, we were able to come up with this drawing, which otherwise would take a long time in software like AutoCAD. And here we are still not done yet. So finally, let's talk about adding dimensions. Now for that, I'll go to Aligned and I'll add a dimension from that wall to this one. All right. Now this one is pretty small, and also it's in decimal units. You can change that. Although the size is appropriate for a piece of paper, but in this case, we'll just change it to make it look normal on this scale. So I'm going to delete it. I'll change the layer to dim. And now I'll go to this dimension style manager. We're using a standard dimension, so I'm going to keep this one. And here we have some options. So arrows, well, arrow size is 0.2. Let's make it 5 inches. Text size is 0.2. Make it 5. All right. If you want to change other values, maybe the extension line value, just make it 5 if you are comfortable with this. But in this case, changing this won't matter, so I'm going to change it back to 0.2. Also here, the linear dimension type is decimal. I'm going to change it to feet inches architectural. And the precision is 1/4 of an inch. I'll keep that value. Now I'll click on OK, and we are ready to make our dimensions. Now in this case, we have a quick tool for making the dimension, and that quick tool is right here, the automatic dimensioning. This tool will help you in making dimensions pretty quickly. So I'm going to show you a demo of this. So I'll select this, and for this tool, all you need to do is click a point, the starting point and end point, and all the points in between those two selected points will be selected for dimensioning, and an automatic dimension will be added on every single point just like this. So that looks good, but it has a limitation here. It's adding the wall thickness, which we can add in the title block. Again, here also wall thickness. So we may want to avoid these dimensions. One way to avoid is just select the dimension and delete it, but that's going to take longer. And if you want to directly avoid this, then you can do it right inside the dimension style. So again, I'll go to dimension style, and here we have the minimum thickness value. So now this is the value which will decide the minimum length for which the dimension will be added. In this case, I'm going to type 10. Now, any value which is greater than 10 will have the dimension. So I'm going to click on OK, and I'll add the dimension, and look at this. So now the dimensions are added, but it will skip this 10-inch wall thickness as well as this 5-inch because it's obviously equal or smaller than the specified value. So now I'll press escape and I'll add the dimensions. So once again, I'll select this automatic dimension. I'll click here, and here we have the dimensions. Also, I'll add dimensions from here to here and from here to here. And just look at this. It will clearly avoid the blocks that you have added. So it will add the dimension from wall to wall. And that's a pretty neat way of adding dimensions. All right, and that's our final floor plan. Obviously, it's plain and simple. We need to add a lot of detail here. You can do that, but now I hope you get the idea of making plans in Dibac CAD. The final thing after making a drawing is obviously getting a final output on a sheet of paper or as a PDF or any other electronic format. You can do that here as well. So here I'll just plot my drawing as a PDF. So I'll go to this plot option. And right now I just see this single straight line because the scale is pretty big. So here I'll just change some of the properties. I'll start with the printer, click here in this box, and this will allow you to change the printers. I will select Microsoft Print to PDF. Okay, selected. Now vertical, I'll keep it vertical because we have the vertical drawing here. Now in the printing area, I'll select window. and I'll click on this box to specify a window, and this will be the window. We want to plot all the objects from this window only. Now you can clearly see your drawing. If you still don't see the drawing even after specifying the window or making these settings, you can change the scale. So make sure you change the scale to the appropriate value. In this case, the scale of approximately 1:70 is fine for this case. So that's the scale which we have here. And now I'll select print, specify the location, give it a name, and hit the save button. Exit, and we are done. Now here's the PDF which we got from our drawing. Alright, so here is the bonus stuff. So you can make this simple floor plan pretty easily, but there are a few enhancements that you can also add with just a few clicks that I want to add here. The first one is pillars. So adding pillar is pretty easy. All you need to do is select the pillar tool from here and specify the parameters. In this case, I want to add a rectangular pillar, although you can select circular as well, and then specify the length and width. So right now it is specified as 12 inches length and 12 inches width. We are using inches as the unit. And also you can specify the base point. The base point is this midpoint, but you can change it to any other point if you want. I'll keep this midpoint as the base point for the pillars. Now click OK, and just click at the point where you want to place it. So I'm going to place it here, and the pillars are added. Now you can keep on adding pillars on other points as well. So maybe I'll add another one here and a pillar here. When you're done, press escape. Similarly, you can find the area very easily and you can add it inside the rooms. For the area, click on this icon, the area icon here, and now select the type of area which you want to find. In this case, we want to find out the area of enclosed regions. So I'll select enclosed area. Now the verification color is the color that will be highlighted when you select the area. So I'll click here, and maybe I'll change the verification color to yellow, and OK. All right, let's click on OK and click on one of the walls for which you want to find the area. So I'll click here, and the area for this room is here on my cursor. So now all you need to do is just click and press escape. The area is added. It's right now in inches square because we are using inches as the unit. Similarly, if you find out the area of this complete room, you can click on any of these outside walls and the complete area will be calculated accordingly, and you can just place it anywhere you want and press escape. Finally, let's talk about adding hatches. And it's also very easy, just like adding area and pillars. For the hatches, you can go to this hatch icon right here. And in this case, you need to start with the hatch type. So we have all of these hatch types here, and I'll start with the predefined option. So using predefined, you can select from multiple predefined patterns, which we have here. Now go to this ellipsis and select from one of these patterns. So it's up to you. You can select any of these patterns which you want. In this case, I'll select this NC31 pattern, or maybe if you want any other pattern, you can select that, but I'll select NC31. I'll click on OK. And now you can change the parameters like angle and scale. Angle is 0. I'll leave it. The scale is 0.01. I'll change it to 1. And now select the area where you want to add the hatches. So if you select area, hatch will be added in the entire area. If you select walls, hatch will be added to the walls. In this case, I want to add hatches to the walls. So I'll select walls. I'll accept it. This wall and maybe this wall too. And I'll right click and the hatches are added here just like this. So pretty easy and kind of neat as well. Now finally, if you want to use images as the hatch pattern, then there is an option for that as well. So go to hatch again, and in this hatch pattern type, select image. Now specify the location of image. So I have an image here. I'll select this. I'll click on OK. And now you need to specify the scale. Now this scale will depend on the size of image which you have. In this case, my image is pretty big, so I may need to just decrease the scale quite a bit. So I'll type a scale of 0.01. And now you need to specify the area where you want to add it. So I want to add this image in the entire area. So I'll select area, I'll accept this. Now I'll click here, and here is the hatch pattern. You can select multiple areas. For example, you can select this as well, and other areas you just need to select the inside walls and the hatch will be added. So now I'll press escape, and here is the hatch pattern. Now in this case, there is an issue with this hatch pattern. This hatch pattern is covering the joineries like doors and other blocks as well. So we can change the draw order of this hatch pattern to make them visible. And for that, you need to just select the hatches. Then go to Utilities, Arrange, and Send to Back. And we are done. So it's really very easy, and using just a few steps, you can make a really very detailed kind of plan using Dibac CAD, as you just now saw here. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you have questions, don't forget to let me know in the comments below. And if this video helped you, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you soon in next video.